From the great state of Texas, you are now listening to Skip the Noise podcast, a Rounded Edge media production. Thank you so much for joining us. And by us, of course, I'm referring to Ben, aka Mexican Nostradamus, and yours truly, Benji, here for another fantastic episode. Shout out to Mike Tacklebox for the music. And no, I didn't say Rick's name. He will not be joining us. He's a little under the weather, to say the least.
Yeah.
From the numbers he's texting us on his ailment, it really sounds like he's in a bad spot.
Space AIDS, bro. I mean,
he's got some strain of some shit I don't think we've seen before. He might be patient zero. That remains to be seen. I hope not. I hope he's back. Dude. He seems in good spirits. I'll say that. Like you wouldn't know by the tone of the text. It's not like, oh, hey guys, like he's still making his jokes. So
talking shit.
I feel like he's in good spirits, but the numbers he's sending us don't look too promising. So I hope he gets well. I hope he gets some rest.
We are hoping so. We're hoping so. So heal up. Godspeed, Rick. May the temperature gods find favor for you, so you no longer have space AIDS. But what do we got? We got a lot in store for everybody tonight, guys. We're going to talk about the first and foremost, of course, the Trump indictment, big fucking thing going on right now. We're going to talk about the huge AI nerd battle going on, where everyone's like, no, you have to stop it, because if you don't, you have to use mine, which is, of course, bullshit. We're going to talk about how no one really talks about how 38 people died in a Warriors detention center. Also, another rapper died. And Biden has a weird, bizarre chocolate fetish, apparently. And California police like to traffic fentanyl. And we may have found the cat that helped Ben fix his car that one night a long time ago. And it's in Cincinnati, and it was doing cocaine.
That's where he went. That's where he fucking ran off.
That's where he fucking went. He fucking went. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, if you're confused by that comment, you can go back to one of our earliest episodes, and it was fucking money. We were having a wonderful evening that evening, and you will too.
I love it. After 141 episode, Ben finally gets it, and he's on the he's on the program. Good job, B. Let's kick it off with the big announcement this week, as we suspected and as we called it on this show.
Yes.
Kudos to you, sir, Mr. Mexican Nostradamus. That's why he's got the nickname. So yes, indeed, Trump was indicted in New York for what we think. We don't know much yet, but it's implied that it's
pedophilia.
But maybe not. But the hush money paid to one Stormy Daniels is what we think this is involving. But what do we know, Ben? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, basically, it's an angling. So what they're trying to say is, of course, so everyone knows that Trump banged Stormy, whatever her name, Stormy whatever fucking name.
Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, everyone knows he banged her. So the problem is that he paid money to cover it up. But there's a dichotomy here, because if he paid her money to cover it up to prevent his family being ashamed, that's totally fine. But if he paid money for her to cover it up because of his political ambitions during his political campaign, that had to be, I guess, like claimed in his campaign spending.
Right.
So we already have a person who's been convicted of this and gone to jail, Michael Cohen, for his part in this. So now Trump has been indicted, but Lisa to say, all the pundits, all the talking heads, everyone says this is the lightest of all the charges. The real one that, in my opinion, too, is Georgia, which was basically complete. Like, he was trying to influence the electoral, personnel there. Mm-hmm. So that one, I'll be honest with you, that one's going to stick. Like, I'm pretty sure he's fucked over that.
Well, and regardless, whatever happens, though, this is new territory. This is the first time an ex-president has been fucking indicted by the long dick of the law.
Well, to quote our long dick fellow of the trio, he definitely
shout out, right?
got the long dick of the law. But it's going to be interesting, because I think I really think that he thought there was going to be more traction on the social protest level. I think he thought, like, oh yeah, these motherfuckers are going to go January 7th, like more than January 6th. He thought they were going to come out, swinging. And to be quite honest with you, there's been very little going on. I mean, I imagine there's some 4chans where people are, some of the fuck boys are, LARPing and talking about how they're going to, start, put another face on Mount Rushmore and, charge the Manhattan DA, but nothing's really happened, right? I mean,
well, yeah, his the most extreme of his support group, their numbers have they're still there, but those numbers have, I think, at this point kind of waned a little.
Right.
There's now, mind you, it's still a force. Like there's still he has a following like no other.
Well, the Waco
political figure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not down, but it's definitely downsized. And once again, I think it was well, and also too, you these rally cries, right? You do it once, you do it twice. With each time, it's like how many times can you expect the same level of intensity with the support? So yeah, you're right. I think it's at the level now where that's not going to happen. So.
Yeah. Well, and also on top of that, his Waco rally only had like 12,000 people, which is still a draw. I mean, would I love to draw 12,000 people? Oh, fuck yeah. Especially a bunch of people that pay money to hear me talk shit all day long. I would love that shit. But, the fact is these aren't like, what Obama did, like fucking like, filling stadiums, or even what he used to do, which was filling stadiums. These are smaller venues. He of course goes to Waco, which, there was a background behind that, because there's also been this undercurrent lately about the discussion, and it actually kind of coincided with Netflix re-releasing a special about the Waco, about the Branch Davidians and David Koresh and shit.
Yeah.
So, and that's always been, and people don't realize that's always been a big rally cry of the extreme route. Like, this fucking guy was like, they really thought it was his violation of his civil rights, liberties, etc. So anyways, of course, he had it in Waco on the almost anniversary of when the Branch Davidians got smoked out. So it's kind of fucked up. But nonetheless, we have an indictment. He's talking about this and that. Will the big question is it's Tuesday, because he's going to surrender himself on Tuesday. Will he do the perp walk? Will he take the photo ops and all that shit? That's really, how that's handled is interesting, because what do we see people doing, right? How do we see people handling this? If he does the perp walk, if he makes this a big spectacle, what happens? Right. And how his followers will react to it. Because I think, as much as a lot of the right-wing punditry is trying to say, I think a little bit of his push is kind of old now.
That's what I'm saying. Like he wore out, he utilized, or he's overspent his leadership capital.
Right. For sure.
You know what I mean? And
for sure.
And I think at this point it's diminished to the point where, and not only that, but because it's a known quantity that he's going to, have that kind of active support, so to speak, if you want to put it PC. The way that they proceed with bringing him in and or how they handle the whole situation,
the arraignment
is going to be the arraignment. Yeah, all that is going to be very calculated to prevent such a thing, right? They're not going to, you know what I mean? They're not going to wrestle him to the fucking ground.
That'd be fucking crazy. You know what I
mean? Like it's
like
they're
someone
not,
just like fucking like clothesline and gang tackles him.
They're going to handle it in a way that's going to be the most suited to avoid the potential for any event to occur.
But also just thinking though, but will they? Because that's the other part. That's the other flip side of the coin, right? Some New York Democrats are pretty hardcore and they want to see someone kick Trump in the balls.
Maybe.
And also they're going to be like, well, the reality is when you arraign, African-American men and Latino men, are they handled that way?
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, some people may want to see him a police officer run like 50 steps and do a double side kick to the kidney, just to to start it off. So who knows what's gonna happen? Tuesday's gonna be fucking wild. It's gonna be like WWE. If we get a chance and we get to see it, we may drop a quick 15-20 minute just discussion about whatever ridiculousness happens, because it's gonna be fucking monumental, whatever it is. And the one thing that I cannot fucking wait personally to see is his fucking mugshot.
The what?
His mugshot. He's gonna be fingerprinted in mugshot.
Right. Yeah.
I can't fucking wait to see that. Will he have this shit-eating grin? or will he like, even like have like, thumbs up? Who knows? But this fucker,
Yeah,
he's gonna
that's a
milk
good
it.
call, man.
He's
I
gonna milk
wonder
it.
that's a good wager to put
Oh
down.
yeah, yeah.
Let's
It's gonna
do
be
so
fucking
right
great.
now. What do you okay, skip the noise. We're your bookies right now. Hit me up on Instagram at skip_the_noise_podcast. Put in your 2 cents now. How do you think Trump, because it's gonna come out.
Yeah, it's gonna be double guns.
How do you
It's gonna
think?
be
Yes,
double thumbs
is it going to
up.
be double guns? Is it going to be a shit-eating grin? Is it going to be stone face? Like, is he going to freeze up and like not do anything cute, or is he going to milk? Is he going to flash a little smile? What's he going to do? How's he going to handle that? Because it's a calculated move, right? You could go neutral and just like kind of stare blankly, which is probably the safe thing to do,
right?
But he could also kind of be defiant and put a little smirk on, right? Or he could completely, like you said, fucking ham it up like
I think so. I think he's gonna do that.
Reality show, game show host he is, and do something like that too.
Well, crazy thought, and I want to see what you say. What happens if he goes too far? Right? What happens if he starts fucking with the cops and starts like trying to go too like fucking like, Boston Tea Party, and accidentally in a way pushes or, dare I say, resists arrest to try to ham it up, to try to showmanship. What happens if he went that far? I mean, I doubt it happens.
Yeah.
But he is also kind of that person who likes to push that boundary. What happens if he gets fucking tased? What world would we? How would our world change if Donald Trump got fucking tased?
Oh, yeah, I definitely don't
during his arraignment.
I don't think that's the most likely scenario.
And I mean, like not once, like a team of 3 people hit him with the taser at the same time and just shot the shit out of him. How fucked would our country be for the next 2 years before the election? It would just be turmoil, right? Just complete and utter turmoil.
Oh, dude, and just have him like squealing on the ground, just
squealing like a pig
as he's getting tased and shit. Like, can you imagine?
And his hair falls off.
People are gonna do work with that audio and video and like make remixes.
Oh, dude.
Holy shit! Can you imagine the creativity superstorm that's gonna happen from?
And ladies and gentlemen, NYPD is not known for their peacefulness. I mean, they are the ones that did that Haitian guy wrong with the plunger.
Oh, that's right. With the
I mean, NYPD,
well, and that was in the era too, right? Where they were just like frisking people for no fucking reason.
Yep.
Like, hey, cool.
I mean, do you remember the story?
Like on
they
the street,
took this guy off the street, questioned him, and then while he was in questioning, someone had the great idea to get answers out of him was to get a plunger from the restroom and shove it up his ass. This is real news, ladies and gentlemen. This escalated. Really happened.
Yeah, if you don't remember that, look it up because that was
this
real
is early 2000s.
When the hell was that? Yeah, it must have
been
early 2000s.
That might be 90s. That might be late 90s.
Late
90s.
I don't know if it was 90s. Dude. I feel like it was early 2000s
Plunger,
at least.
And hold on, NYPD. We're gonna do a quick fact check.
Hey, while you're doing the fact check, I just wanted to say shout out to Waco because I was actually, you know who else was there recently? Was your boy
97. Sorry.
Damn, was it that long ago?
97. Dude, yep, that was was right after we graduated high school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, 97 was the plunger.
I thought I was more advanced in age when that story came out.
Nope, he got plunged. Not. He got plunged in 97. And big shout out to shout out to Abner Luima, who was the person who was actually physically assaulted.
That was the guy, the Haitian guy?
His name was Abner Luima. I'm not good at French, but something like that. Abner or something like that. Anyways,
Abner's one of those names. Abner's a weird name you don't hear a lot, but it kind of crosses both.
It's pimp. I like
you'll
it.
See. No, yeah, it's a cool name.
It's like name.
But you see it in like Hispanic cultures too. Like it's kind of a
for
rare,
sure. Well, Haitian, that's that mix.
Yeah.
There's a lot in Haiti. Unless you talk to Pat Roberts, the guy who thinks that they sold their soul for voodoo.
Was that the 400?
Yeah, remember it was the Pat. One of those guys was like,
I'm confusing people.
Oh no, that's Yael Romero. He's from Cuba.
Wait, what? No. I wasn't.
No gay Jesus.
No. Yes, you're correct about that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking. I'm thinking of Oral Roberts.
Yes,
That's something.
It might be Oral Roberts. It's one of those fuckers.
Yeah.
One of the big Christian evangelists. He was like on TV after the hurricanes and stuff hit. He's like, "Oh, they're cursed because they did voodoo."
Yeah, dude.
Remember
That's
that?
not
He's like,
cool.
that's like, bro,
not cool to say.
You're cursing, like these people are going through horrible dysentery and shit, but you're the one who's going to say that while you're flying around in a $50 million jet.
Is like most of them are. I mean, here we go. I'm just talking out of my ass.
I love this shit. Talk out your ass.
There's a lot of Christian, like it's a pretty heavy Christian country. I feel like, right?
Which
like Haiti.
Big time. Very
Catholicism.
Catholic.
Yeah.
Very Catholic.
Okay. So yeah, like fuck you, asshole. Like, yeah, they're obviously the voodoo element, right, is there. That's not, it's a real thing. Yeah. But I mean, dude, what is
just because, dude, you know, I think Catholics get the bum rap as I say, you know, and I hate to, and not trying to play. I grew up in two worlds. I grew up as a Protestant / Catholic, so I got both ends of it. But you know, I think the Catholics get some kind of hate sometimes. Same here. Right? I mean, they get a lot of hate sometimes for being Catholic, but you know, of course, that's why he's talking shit, because you know there are a lot of Protestants who still like really dislike Catholics. You're just like, guys,
you know what's funny about you and me?
Break.
This is the one thing that's weird that we share in common.
Yeah,
we both. So Ben and I, this is a weird skip. I haven't in all 41 episodes. We haven't brought this up at all.
No.
The both of us grew up Lutheran. Which is weird.
Like, and crazy.
And what's weird about that is the reason we both grew up Lutheran is because we had it was almost like a reaction to not so in my case, my
the Germans.
I was my father was Catholic and my mom was Protestant. So that was kind of like even though they ended up splitting up anyway, but their compromise was kind of like the middle ground.
Yeah,
the Lutheranism is kind of deemed like Catholic light,
and especially what we were, because we were part of and even further subsect. We were actually part of a smaller subsect of Lutheranism, which is very liberal, which is known as the LCA. Because there's some fucking psychos in there's a part of them that's like the Missouri Senate, like they want women still wearing long dresses. Like the ELCA we were part of had women preachers.
Right.
And then the other side of Lutherans has like women can't wear pants. It's such a crazy spectrum of that religion. It's
not only that, but like, dude, my church was like, so it's weird because it has like the Catholic structure of like mass.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was
exactly.
It was Catholic like mass. It was near a college, and there was like,
dude, great church. The Vespers. Fuck, loved them. I'd go every Saturday.
It was a nice at the time. There was a nice little bagel shop, and like the bread. That's what was dope. Is instead of the little Catholic wafers, we still do the Eucharist the same way with the bread. But it was like
what was that bread?
Dope ass bread from like badass bakery next door.
It was really fucking good.
Oh, dude! So it was like literally going into some boutique bakery. That type of bread that we had at
such a good church. I love that church.
Hell yeah,
dude. I went there with my mom. Me and my mom. So while I was in school, pharmacy school, I went to church. So I'm despite my horrible foul mouth, etc. I actually went to church like I got a lot, probably more than most fucking people.
Dude, growing up, my mom never let me skip. That's just so weird. Like you wouldn't think that talking to both of us, but yeah, I went every single Sunday.
I'm a foul mouth bastard, but I'll be honest with you. We went every Saturday night because I would work like 14-hour days at like a job, but I would take my hour off. My mom would meet me.
I was the youth the president of the youth
great church. Yeah.
In high school, I was the president, which was
we even went to we went to church camps. We went to Luther Hill and shit.
Bro, we went to Atlanta, Luther Hill and LaGrange. You've heard that ZZ Top song LaGrange? That's where Luther Hill, the camp was. Oh, bro, I went to church camp. I stretched it out like 3 years. We went to I used to go to like the other, what do they call, like the gatherings and stuff.
Yeah, they were bangers,
bro. One time, and this is
these are like band camp stories, bro.
But this is like real shit.
You better start throwing hypotheticals.
So even though I was the youth group president, this is so foul, but I have to. It's great. It's a great story.
You're a whore.
But at the same time, right? You're up to high school hijinks. So we snuck in some tequila, and we snuck out in the woods, This isn't at Luther Hill. This was some other convention or whatever, but it was out in like, somewhere in Texas, probably like a couple hours from here.
Right.
And so we snuck some tequila and mixed it in like Gatorade or whatever, like a Gatorade bottle.
Nice.
Went off in the woods. And we came. I've talked about basketball before. So, dude, I wasn't like the shit or whatever.
You were really good.
I was I was a good high school player on a good team. That I rode the bench on a really good high school basketball.
Dude, that was a fucking really good team. But you played
at the time.
Too.
But I played. Yeah, I played a little. So I'm not whatever. But in the context of like a fucking church camp, I'm like fucking, you know what I mean? John Stockton or some shit. So mind you, go out into the woods, fucking drink. I'm fucking buzzed as shit. We come back and there was this badass, like pavilioned ass cement basketball court. And it's all these like church camp kids, dude. Oh, let's play basketball. And like there might be like one kid that like half-assed knows how to play. So I was just like, oh shit. And I was
running the courts.
I was like, it's on. I was going coast to coast being a dick because I was kind of drunk. So I was like showing off, but I wasn't so drunk that I couldn't play.
That's so awesome.
I was just going under the backboard, like reverse layups and shit, talking shit.
Church. Just talking shit, dude. It'd been better if you like slapped one of them. You're just like, bitch.
To be fair, I think I actually, and this isn't to make me sound like a better person, but this was actually the year before I got elected president. So I wasn't technically, So I wasn't the active president while I was doing these hijinks, but but I did sneak in some booze to church camp. I'm sorry, God. Sorry, Jesus.
Well, dude, I think yours are almost excusable. Me, on the other hand, I and not if I have my future progeny ever hear this particular thing, but I was straight whoring during that whole time. So like I was trying to hook up with, and I did. I think I hooked up. I think I had I had a streak during one church camp because they decided like we're gonna send them all to this big hotel, this massive hotel. I forgot where it was, and we're gonna let them room. And there literally was no fucking
chaperone.
Like there was like one per floor. We took up like 4 or 5 floors of this massive hotel. So there's girls and guys like running around. Like it's just debauchery during this church camp.
The Beaumont
one. Bro. Dude, and
you missed the Atlanta one.
Oh, if I went to the Atlanta one, I'd have like 8 kids, dude.
The Atlanta, it was like this had to be like fucking 95 or 6.
Yes, I remember that. I was gonna go to it.
We went to the Atlanta, and this is like, so it's like Lutheran fucking kids from all over the country. This was like, now that in retro, it doesn't like
horned up Lutheran kids from all over the country.
It doesn't like register as like a big event in my life, but now that we're talking about it, that was fucking fire.
Yeah, the Atlanta thing was fire.
Yeah,
I wanted to go so bad.
All the meetings happened in like where like the Falcons play. I don't know what they call it now. The like where the fucking football team.
Yeah, the Gunshot Falcons. Alley.
Well, of course, but like the fucking football stadium,
segregation stadium.
Yeah. Well, no, but we saw like they had the Martin Luther King Museum. Like we did like real cool shit there too.
Yeah.
But they had these like breakout groups.
Yeah.
And dude, I just remember because this is like mid 90s. So at the hotel and there was hotels all over the fucking city that had like the like Lutheran kids or whatever.
Right.
But ours was right next to this. It was like a Hardee's. And I remember the line was so fucking long because like we got out late, like we were at the stadium and we took MARTA, the fucking Atlanta like transit shit.
Right.
Dude, we saw some shit on the fucking ride.
That's what
MARTA.
I'm saying,
bro. Cause it was because when you're at like a event like that, you just have to do whatever you can do.
Yeah.
So every day we're riding the MARTA to the fucking Atlanta Falcons stadium. What the hell is it called? I can't. Anyway,
the segregation stadium.
So yeah, we're seeing
the Stars and Bars Stadium.
Yeah, we're seeing some real hood shit like go down like left and right, and then we're coming back. But it was cool though. I mean, nothing bad happened. It was a great trip. And then, but what was cool too? This is so fucking 90s. Is like they had a because it was super Now that I think about it, dude, it was a dope idea to be part of a church back then.
It was.
They really did promote. So in the hotel we were staying, obviously it was like jam packed with like kids that were there for this conference, but they were from everywhere. I remember meeting all these kids from like Milwaukee and shit or wherever. And they had like a little party in the conference, like the conference room in the hotel.
Right.
Some like 2.5-star hotel or whatever, but they had that little mini conference room and they had like a DJ. And so they were playing, the one song I always
spin this beat
for sure. But it was like that was when Warren G Regulate was the big song. Yeah, everybody freaked out and whatever danced with all these girls and shit. And holy shit, man.
Dude, right? It was a good time.
Memories, man.
I remember I was supposed to go to that one, but I ended up not because I think by that time I was locked in with the chick I started dating. So I was just that was it. So I was like,
That's
dude,
right.
I had
you were off limits.
I had plenty of water. I had plenty of water. So I was definitely being fed. So my interests varied a little differently. But yes, nonetheless, we had a blast and Trump probably gonna get raped in prison. But
yeah, man.
But I think my closing thoughts, besides this fucking tangent, which was pretty awesome. That was a good little
that's what
we
I
loved it. I loved it. But going back to Trump getting raped, I think with these indictments, I think people are starting, and as much as the pundits try to say, like, oh, Trump's back and da-da-da, I do think that we're starting to see chinks in the armor. And there is something about somebody.
So words says, okay, keep going.
Yeah, you have to cut that one. But going. I think we're starting to see kinks. Is that
no? I think you said it right.
Chinks chinks. Fuck, I'm half Chinese. Anyways, so I think we're starting to see some real vulnerabilities in this because there is something to be said about somebody peaking too soon, right? If you blow your wad too soon, you don't really get the job done. And I think Trump may be, and that I might be wrong, but this is how I'm kind of seeing it. Trump might be the reverse of what Trump was before. It's easy to be an underdog. It's very hard to be the champion.
Yeah, man.
And so I think he's already blown his wad too soon. So I think everyone's starting to see these frailties, and I think they're seeing weaknesses. And I think right now everyone says all these people are like, oh, every poll has Trump, winning in the primaries or whatnot. But how reliable are those polls until it really happens, right?
Oh shit! Look at the 2016.
Look at Hillary, right? Hillary should have been president by like 9,000 points, but she lost badly. Like you can't landslide.
You can't put really any stock into that whatsoever at this point.
So I don't know, dude. I think we may actually see the downfall because I think these indictments are going to make people go, look, we love you, man. We love how racist you are. We love how shitty you are. We love how you'll do whatever we say you want to do. The problem is I think he has lost all the capital that made him so good because he was the underdog.
Right. Well, you know what he lost too was the timing. It's just a different set of circumstances now, and it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Now he's still though. Here's the thing: it's different now. But he's still. There isn't anybody really that.
I mean, DeSantis is waiting in the wings.
That's what I'm saying, but I still don't think. I still think he has him in check to a degree, but I
agree.
But what happens with this though will change everything, or it could potentially, or it could be nothing, or he could. I mean, he doesn't obviously have any intentions of not running because of this.
Right.
He's going to continue to do it. So, in other words, we don't know. We just don't know what's going to happen. It could really change the course of how the next election goes down. He might not be in it at all. We don't know.
He might be in jail,
or he might just keep going and it's not a factor. That could happen too. So both realities are very possible. Yeah. But if it does play out, does he become more of a slightly more muted version of what he was? But funny enough is like the most viable candidate for the Republican Party still, despite him not being at like max Trump, like he was before. But I don't know. We'll see.
I like that. Is he going to be max Trump? And I don't know. I think we, like you said, I think we're seeing, and I think we're starting to see a Trump. And I think this is what Trump had a problem with when he was fighting against Biden. Trump is better as an underdog, than he is as a champion. It's very hard to remain the champion, right? You see it in UFC, you see it in boxing, you see it in sports, you see it everywhere. Being the champion is a lot of pressure because you no longer seem like you're really one of the regular people.
Well,
you're on top.
It's just simple dynamics of not having anything to lose when you're the underdog.
Exactly.
There's no substitute for that. That's if utilized properly, that's an advantage. You know, there's also advantages, right, with being the air quotes champion, or, you know, for the sake of that analogy. But at the same time, yes, there's an energy that he brought that very much suited being the underdog, because he could talk shit. He didn't have to watch what he said. That was his whole appeal. So that's very easy to lean into. That's very sort of like one direction, one focus. You know what I'm saying? It's a very narrow path. Whereas being in the position he now, it's a little more complicated. Like he actually already has a history that he has to answer to. Right. Whereas before it's all potential. There's nothing you can come back like, I already know I don't have a political career. That's why I'm here. We can't say that now, because now he does. Now he has shit that he has to answer to. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? You know what I mean? You weren't effective in this area. You were effective here, but you weren't here. Numbers speak for themselves. He has an actual track record that you can pull from and speak to. So either way, but moving on. I think
I agree.
We beat that dead horse, but no, we covered. I felt we got that from all angles.
I did. From the front, back, all over the chest.
Just like as he potentially could get covered in all angles. But speaking of covering everything in every angle, the AI. We've talked a lot about AI on this show.
So not Allen Iverson. Despite that's right. Nasty AI though, that brother was badass back in the day, but not him.
He was a bad boy, but
that's what distinguish.
Not what we're talking about. What we're talking about, a new event that recently occurred. So Steve Wozniak and Elon Musk partnered up and created this petition of, I guess, industry. I don't know what.
Well, basically,
all these. In other words, what they were asking for, they created a petition of like how many people? It's quite a few.
Well, no, it's actually a supposed group of AI experts and executives. Didn't say as long, but they're requesting a 6 months pause in developing systems more powerful than the new Chat GPT-4.
Right.
In an open letter.
With the intention of like, in other words, they're trying to say like, hey, we're not quite caught up in society. We're not ready to handle this yet. Let's pause. Which, okay, on the surface, at first glance, yes, like, okay, I could see that, because we've talked about it on the show. Like, hey, this thing is getting away from us a little bit. Yep. So obviously that's a viable angle to take, especially coming from somebody in his position. But what me and Ben are talking about before we got going was, try not to look at this one-dimensional. Look at it from the angle too, where it's like, think of the pieces here. So OpenAI, right, holds all the cards because they're the ones that develop ChatGPT, and obviously that's emerged as the front runner. They're running the show. So this guy, I don't know the CEO's name. If you got a hand,
chat, I can pull that up.
It's AI. OpenAI is the name of the corporation, I guess, that develops ChatGPT, which is obviously, like I said, is emerging as the front runner in this technology, or at least how it's applied.
It's Sam Altman is the
okay.
CEO.
So okay, Sam Altman. That's right. I just watched a video recently, an interview with him. And it's funny enough, right? Like, so his take on, because obviously, right, the big question, we've talked about it numerous times on the show, is like, what's the potential for harm is very scary. Even though this is a very promising technology, it has many uses. There's all kinds of ways this could be applied to help society. obviously there's some concerns. So anyway, he's been asked about that quite a bit, and his answer is like, hey, look, it's better to, and this is actually an interesting take, because I don't think I've gone on record or even really considered kind of this angle. And he's like, hey, the potential for this obviously is scary. He's like, and I wouldn't be, how genuine would I be if I didn't answer your question by saying like, yes, I'm very concerned about some the potential problems this could create. He goes, but I don't think we should shut it down. He goes, I think we should press it, have it even more in the public sphere. So that way there's a shorter feedback loop for us to react and adapt as we continue to develop it. And I was like, okay, I'm not co-signing 100% and saying like I'm running with that, but right. That's a very good way to put it, right? Because I could see that. That's right. One angle to take. But on the other side, you've got the Woz and Elon saying, no, not so fast. Let's shut this shit down. But interesting enough, right? Like Ben pointed out, well, maybe they're scared that like this dude's gonna run away with it, and he's gonna hold all the cards and become Bill Gates, 4.0.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be the new. So everyone likes to control their monopolies, and the oligarchs like being the only oligarchs. You know what I'm saying? So whereas now there's gonna be a new oligarch. This Sam Altman is probably gonna be the new billionaire. Oh, ChatGPT is fucking exploding, as everyone knows. I mean, they've talked about the possibilities of it replacing every white collar worker, and I love how people keep talking about the dangers of it, and especially when in regards to cheating. And Sam Altman basically said, "Well, what the fuck you think happened when they invented the calculator? We're still okay. People still know math." So he's developed this amazing tool, which nonetheless has become an issue. But and not to sidetrack, but we actually did Italy, I think, just banned it because of some privacy concerns, because Europe has a different set of privacy rules versus the United States. But nonetheless, they want to stop it, but there's always a reason, right? And it's because theirs sucks, right? Bard sucks balls. The one from Google, it's not very good. And quite honest, they've had to pull it online, take it off online. And then there was even script tracing or something that showed that it was utilizing ChatGPT. So like Google's AI was using ChatGPT to track like it was doing something. So it's like, it's pretty bad. That's how far behind everyone else's is. So this is just, to me, like we were talking about, we're laughing. It's just a ploy. They just want to, we're saving the universe from AI and from Skynet. This is Skynet. It's going to get us all. But really, they're just trying to buy time so that their systems catch up, so they can bring something to market that doesn't look like like caveman paintings compared to the Mona Lisa, So I think that's where they're at.
Exactly.
I think that's exactly where it's at. So as everyone tries to say, these billionaires, which are all, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, billionaires don't give a fuck about you. They don't care if AI takes over everything because they're billionaires. It doesn't fucking matter. And they don't give a shit about you. So I always kind of look at their motives differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can definitely tell, like, what's his name? Bill Gates is trying to get to heaven after all the horrible things he did on Epstein Island. So he's going to keep doing whatever it takes, he thinks, to try to get penance, because that dude did some dirty boy shit and he's trying to make up for it because, dude, time's a motherfucker, right? Right. Like, we all got to go. He might be feeling that heat.
This might, at the risk of starting a whole nother tangent.
Oh, I got a tangent for you.
But think about that, the mind of like the super billionaire like Bill Gates.
Oh yeah. It's fucking amazing.
That's a different, like, you live in a different reality than you or I.
It's an existence that's unparalleled ever, except for maybe kings, right?
Yeah.
Kings, maybe popes, like kings, presidents. Yeah. That's about it. But it's for life.
Right. When you're a billionaire, as long as you can hold on to the cash.
We always will have.
But once you get to that point,
you're like there's unparalleled experiences. He's like Xerxes, like, what I'm saying, like riding on this fucking thing carried by dudes in gold shit, looking all like whatever. I mean, that's basically what the Bezos is trying to be. He's trying to be fucking Xerxes and shit. He wants dudes carrying around. He's like gonna, why would you ever despite me? I'll give you what you want.
My yacht is incapable of traveling through your city. Will you please rebuild it for me?
Just kneel to me and you can have what you need.
But yeah, and remember what was not Bezos, but God damn it, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, no, for sure. They've got their own way of thinking. But you know who doesn't give a shit about people either is the folks running the Juarez immigration detention center.
This one's bad.
Man, this is really bad. What just happened down there, Ben?
Well, basically, so this just happened, and this actually happened on the 28th. So we're a couple of days behind, but nonetheless, then this is what we know. At least 39 immigrants are dead in a fire in the Ciudad Juarez detention center, which is across from El Paso. This particular, right now, most people know we have a kind of a policy where if you're trying to gain asylum, a lot of people are staying in Mexico to begin and do that process. So this process right now, unfortunately, has this huge backlog. So there's tons of people all staying in these detention centers that are furnished by Mexico, of course, with payment from the United States who are helping this happen. But all these people are staying in Mexico. They're overcrowding these particular, I guess, detention centers. Well, the problem is they started to riot because conditions are shit, supposedly. That's what they said. Yeah. Well, the Mexican president, Obrador, said, hey, I don't think they really thought this through. They decided to kind of riot and light their beds on fire. Well, the problem is, and he kind of said it sarcastically, if you light your beds on fire and you set a fire, you can't get out of it. So you die. So unfortunately, that's 39 people. Most of them, from what I heard, are from Guatemala. So this is part of that Central American, and there's some Venezuelans, that this influx that's trying to gain asylum into the United States. And that they're the ones right now in all the detention centers. So I think right now there's this huge issue regarding that, right? There's this huge flux that's occurring, and 39 people died, ladies and gentlemen. But nobody's fucking talking about this.
For sure.
Right? I mean, but that's the thing that I see a lot of in the media, right? Like, Latin Americans are only important for like a couple of weeks before the election, right? After that, no one gives a shit. I mean, if you think about the 50-something immigrants that died in the back of that 18-wheeler, has anything changed since then? Has anyone tried to save them? And now you have 39 people dying in Mexico, which, while yes, it's a different country, is still a big fucking deal. So this is crazy, and no one's talking about it, right? No one's ripping, no one's saying nothing, no one cares, but it's pretty fucked up.
No, it is, man. And they're used, they're used as pawns, like in a political game, really. And I mean, you look at here, like just here locally, also, obviously a huge amount of immigrants, and who knows what kind of numbers are undocumented, and some of the conditions and situations that they find themselves in. Yeah. Day laboring, getting underpaid, just all kinds of bullshit. So, right. In other words, it's happening stateside too. It's part of the same problem, or part of the scope of the same problem. And you're right, Ben. It really just only comes around. It's only an issue that anybody cares about right before election time. Yep. Because it's a big part of the voting population, especially in places like Texas, California. Especially if you want to maintain maintain your party's control on the state, you have to play that very carefully, because the dynamics are a little bit different, right? With the conservative shift.
And 30, I mean, 39 fucking people lost their souls, right? And I'm not trying to say this, and these are people that are just looking for a better life. Right. Well, the concerning part, whatever you want to say about immigration, which is a very complicated situation. And I think if you guys ever get a chance, me and Brick had a wonderful discussion here 2 Mexican American men discussing immigration from different viewpoints, but both having a heritage of people that came from Mexico and how that's effective. So if you guys ever chat, I think that was probably one of our better discussions.
I mean, y'all have brought it up before, but like if you've never listened to, if you're new to the show, yeah, that's some of y'all, and y'all, it's not like y'all have only brought that up once, obviously.
No, yeah.
Thing that's come up twice, but yeah, y'all's discussion about that, I think is important, and one of the most important things we've done with this show, actually, because of the perspectives that you guys both have on that, and the relevance of the issue is so much bigger. Once again, it only comes up though during election time. Yeah, that's a fact. But it's something that continues to be the future of our country. Greatly depends on how we proceed with dealing with this issue. It's not going to go away. Okay. Yep. Matter of fact, to take it a step further, you know what's going on now, man? Bro, there's a lot of like Chinese defects going through Mexico to get into the United States. So not to kind of shift gears too hardcore there, but it's just something that kind of popped into my head. That's kind of an issue too. You don't really think about, so much so it's such a thing that like in China, there's a lot of social media accounts and, you know, like YouTube videos and channels that are dedicated to helping, you know, people that are Chinese. Maybe they like spoke out a little bit too much and they're on the radar of the CCP and they're being threatened with being in prison and things like that. So there's a lot of people coming over as kind of like, you know, basically seeking political asylum, but they're smart. The smartest way is to go through Mexico. So there's all these like information sites that tell them which way to enter,
so fucking nuts,
like man. What states. Yeah, for real. Like, hey, it's probably a better bet to go through the California side because of blah, 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 what's going on politically in Arizona and Texas. All kinds of shit, dude. So this issue is not just it's complex, man, and the ramifications are massive. So anyway, it's one of our ways, right, to kind of bring up something that, but I guess the concerning part with this specific case is that the two guys, you know, the guards or whatever the role they're fulfilling there, whenever the fire starts, just tend to like, oh, fuck this, and just like take off. So, you know what I mean? I think that's where there's the humanitarian sort of dissent coming from this issue. But, you know, I don't know. Not much more to go. But anyway, that we bring that story up as kind of a reminder that this is something that should be on our mind. So,
and no one really gives a fuck until they need the push they can get from the Latin American community.
Exactly. And speaking of not giving a fuck, you know,
oh boy.
So we have a lot of tragedy, you know, mass shootings happen all across the country, and it's always a bad event. It's sad that we are kind of getting used to it, and we're having these discussions with more sort of callousness and more of a, you know, kind of almost like an operational, like, oh, how do we blah, 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 blah. You know, it's not shocking anymore. And you can't force that. It's just not, because it's like, oh, fuck, another one happened. You know, in some neighborhood, you would never expect it, but that doesn't even exist anymore, because it's like, that's exactly fits the profile for where you would expect it. Does that make sense? Like, it's anybody's, like one lady that they interviewed that was, you know, she lived across the street and was kind of helping kids come across as they were fleeing after the shooting started to take place. She was kind of like, yeah, it's like one of those things, like when you see it, you're like, this could never happen here. But in that same vein of thought, she's like, well, yeah, it could happen here, obviously, because everywhere it happens, it's exactly the place that you would say couldn't happen here, but that's where it is.
Right.
So in other words, everywhere in America, and this is what made this click in my head, and it's why I'm bringing it up. This is such a weird thing where it's like, just because you don't live in a crime-infested neighborhood where homicides are taking place, you know, like every couple months or every month, even if you live in kind of a quiet area where gun violence is not a thing, but you can't really go to sleep, right? Because a mass shooting could happen literally fucking anywhere.
Right. Right.
So so it's almost like this. I don't know, man. It's really weird how that element sort of takes it's like how it's the same principle of how terrorism works, right? So terrorism, the reason it works, right, is because you create out of the randomness, the possibility or the potential threat is sort of the thing that they're hanging over, right?
Right.
Like, hey, I could just go fucking behead a goddamn mailman in the middle of the public square, right?
Jesus.
And so no, but like
no respect for the postal service, but I get it.
No, but I don't know why I went that way. But what I'm saying is like that's why that works. It's because it's random. It's because you never know.
It strikes at the fear of normality, right?
Exactly.
You could just be going to get milk and get beheaded by some crazy cop.
For sure, because you have to account for it.
Right. AKA the truth of terror.
Or it puts in your mind that you have to account for it, right? So you might react. In other words, it's like, well, I'm not going to that store ever again. You see what I'm saying? So
right.
In other words, like these mass shootings are kind of like a thing where every single school in America now has to fucking lock the fuck out of their doors, and the principal's got to take rounds 2 or 3 times a day to make sure every goddamn door is locked. We live in that world right now, and we just accept that as normal, but that's pretty fucking crazy.
Yep. It's fucking terrifying.
I just volunteered at my kid's school or whatever. I do it every year. It's a cool program where you get to like spend the whole day there and all this stuff. Well, recently so I've got 2 in middle, 2 in elementary, and my one of mine in elementary won a little award where she got to like hang out with the principal for like a couple whatever. Right. And yeah, like one of the things she does was do the rounds and like make sure all the doors were locked, and then they got to like watch security cameras and shit. Like that was part, you know what I'm saying? Like that was part of like hanging out with the principal. So it's like it was cute or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool, baby. I'm glad you got to do that." But like in my head, because the Benji that hosts fucking Skip the Noise is like, well, that's kind of fucked up.
Well, this is fucked up. Great.
You know what I'm saying? Like I pay enough in taxes to where like, I don't know, my first concern shouldn't be goddamn gun violence in the kids' school, elementary school my kids go to. Right? Like
Right, exactly.
In other words, I purposely moved out here.
School, right?
I moved out of fucking Houston, way the fuck out here, because I didn't want my kids to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Go to a school where that was a problem. But that's what I'm saying. That's the whole point, is that no, fucking shit could happen everywhere.
Exactly.
Right? So it puts everybody in check. So you have to account for it, which requires a differentiation in action. But anyway, you know, I've talked enough. But
I'm enjoying it. But
where I was going with that was, that being said, a school shooting is a somber affair. Okay.
Yes.
So when you're the leader of the country, of where this is obviously a massive problem. Okay. And you're going to address the community in which this just happened. I don't know, man. I'm not haven't had a career in politics.
I have
actually none. Yeah, none at all. But I'm going to guess that if I go address the community in which that just happened, I'm probably like my vibe is going to be a little more serious. And in other words, I'm not going to bring
somber. You're going to be way more.
I'm going to be somber. I'm going to be way somber. I'm not going to bring up the ice cream flavor I like and how much ice cream they're going to save for me, which is what our president Joe Biden did when he went down to fucking Nashville to talk to the people there. He started the talk kind of joking, and well, fuck, if you want to kind of comment on it.
Well, I guess this is, I can read it. Are we going to listen to it, or are we going to read it?
You know what?
Is the tech team working on getting the audio?
Actually, I don't have the.
No worries.
No
worries, ladies and gentlemen, because I actually have the written transcript. So, Mr. President starts, and I will try my best to reiterate his tone. My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I eat Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down here because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream.
Oh, I know where to find
And
it.
by the way, I have a whole refrigerator upstairs. You think I'm kidding?
Yeah, that's what
I'm
he
not.
said.
That's how
Yeah.
he sounded. So I try to give that the best reflection of the 80-year-old president. But basically, yeah, he just kind of started off a press conference about a mass shooting with a joke.
Hold on, I'm working
Oh,
on.
if you got it, that'd be dope.
Keep
If you got
talking,
it, that'd be
brother.
dope. So yeah, so that's once again our senile president at work, who is going to continue to just do this kind of shit.
Joe Biden's husband.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
H&H's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because you heard there was chocolate chip ice cream.
Oh boy.
Dude, what?
I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs.
There you
I'm kidding. I'm not. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin.
That was what, yeah.
What is he, Johnny Carson, or is he
Dude, it was. It sounds like he sounds like he's fucking Drew Carey in The Price is Right or some shit. He's talking about fucking ice cream brands and fucking like shit.
Oh, this guy right here, this fucking
hats
off to this guy. It's my
he's a shout out. He's the king of shout outs to people, right? Everywhere he goes, he's like, hey, my best friend Joe Johnson, the lead political party machine master. He's a good guy. Good guy. He has chocolate ice cream. I mean, yeah, it's just clearly he doesn't. Not that he doesn't have social etiquette. He just doesn't know where he's at. Right?
Deaf,
He's tone. Well, he's fucking probably literally deaf also. But I mean, the fact is, this fucking guy is fucking 80 years old, and he's running the country. So, yeah, it wasn't a good. It's not a good look. Or
it's not a good look.
No, you're not gonna like the way you look with this one. So it wasn't the right time for Joe to be popping fucking jokes about things whenever a lot of people died.
No.
But that's something you have to. The motherfucker falls downstairs. He just rambles incoherently for quite a bit of time. I bet if you took all of his speeches and you took the ramblings, it would be more ramblings than there were coherent words. He's falling off bikes. He's falling down stairs. At any point in time, right?
Yeah, he'd make it worse than what Jeremy did to me with his little edit.
Oh, right.
With the where I'm all appreciate that, Jeremy. Oh, and by the way,
fucking great.
Ben, did you get a chance to listen to one?
Oh, I did. I fucking laughed my ass off when I heard that. Whenever you spliced that shit in,
I did, bro. Laughing. I didn't tell nobody about that.
No, you didn't. You did it. When I was listening, all of a sudden I heard it go. I'm like, what the fuck this dude do here?
I'm trying to elevate.
Dude, I thought North Korea finally hacked us. I was like, fuck, it's over.
It's over. I'm trying to elevate the Skip the Noise experience, and so I'm kind of coming out of the box a little bit. Obviously, right? I've done the live shows. We've mixed those in from time to time, and I've kind of interspliced like clips from old episodes to kind of fill out the time and done some things like that. But I'm really kind of thinking creative now. I'm like,
I like it. I like it.
There's stuff that I could do, and maybe
homie.
Rehash some of because we've created. The bottom line is Benito,
I like
my fellow co-host. I try to address you as your full government.
He's dressed me as my balls.
I could do that too, but I just want to say that like we've created some great content over the last several years.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm sitting on this fucking library of all these great things, and it's like I'm itching to like pull them back and kind of recirculate them. So you may see some more.
I think it's fun. It's a good insertion.
Yeah, man.
Right between.
I might think of
right in a tight crease. You have to move quick.
You got to move quick in a tight crease.
You know what I'm saying?
Big time. And you got to be deliberate with it.
Deliberate and straightforward. But very unlike our president, who is just sloppy. I mean, it's just this.
Yeah, he's all over the place. He's not direct and percussive.
Yeah. He's like he's like that guy in the fucking left lane that can't get over, and he goes back. He's too fucking scared, but he has the Nazi up his ass in the left lane that's trying to go fast, but he has this other guy in the other lane. He's just panicking, going back and forth. I'm gonna die. That's kind of Biden, right? Mentally,
exactly.
He's very fragile, but while he may be fragile, he's still the president of the United States. But the more and more you see the cracks, right? The cracks under the exterior, and all the lies that Democrats are willing to do and say to try to continue supporting someone who very much is like Reagan, right? But the Republicans did it with Reagan.
Yeah.
I mean, towards the end, Reagan was like farting in bathtubs and laughing and shit. So like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't all right.
Bubble bath.
Bubble bath. Nancy's like, oh God, not again. He shit the bathtub. Just say no to shitting the bathtub, Reagan. I'm sorry, there's gonna be some really pissed off Republicans who like worship Reagan. But guys, just let you know, Reaganomics and all that shit went down when that dude was like not coherent. So might be a reason why that shit is horse shit.
And you know, before Reagan was the president of the United States, you know, he came from the state of California, right? He was governor, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I was just about to say that, and I was like,
at some point,
yeah. I'll like right before that came out of my mouth.
And he was
like,
a super narc.
I think I'm sure of that.
Super narc.
Yeah, super narc. But California, Ben, recently, there's been some other interesting developments, right? With the police.
Fucking right, dude. I mean, this is coming straight out of fucking like, this is coming straight out of like some Breaking Bad shit.
Yeah.
The executive director of a police union in California, Joanne Marion Segovia, 64 years old, ordered thousands of synthetic opioids, including fentanyl, that was disguised as chocolates and wedding favors and makeup, and smuggled them in. This is like the person who leads the police union in San Jose was complicit and smuggled fucking drugs into the country. I mean, what do you say? How do you handle it? They all happened between July of 9, and this wasn't like a couple of years ago. This wasn't like 20 years ago. This all happened between July of 19 and January of 2023.
Damn. So it's like recent as fuck.
Yeah. So she's been just like, you know, basically manipulating manifests, saying, oh, these are chocolates, and then dumping fentanyl, which is extremely deadly, onto the scene. So pretty crazy shit. Once again, showing the level. I think people don't realize the level of what would you say, the level of corruption in not only law enforcement, but in all forms, right? Because drugs and money are really a big problem. So to say the least. So basically this chick smuggling drugs, affiliated with the police union, probably was using her contacts, people that she knew, to help smooth it through. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a bigger conspiracy tied in, right? So nonetheless, California, keep on Californian, because that's just how it's kind of gone. But yeah, fentanyl, man, fentanyl. You know, I was thinking about this the other day in regards to fentanyl. I think that if you get
kick that shit.
Yeah, I think if you get caught dealing fentanyl, right? If you're a fucking fentanyl dealer,
yeah,
there should be the possibility of death in your punishment.
That I like the approach, because fentanyl is such a fucking man. You know, like we used to look at like crack dealers and you know, people like, hey, you're a piece of shit, man. You're selling drugs to kids. You're the lowest of the low. You're the worst, right? But this shit, legit, like that shit, and then the fucking, have you heard of the trank?
Yeah,
where like that shit's turning people into fucking zombies.
I know.
And it's like,
I know. For us, like our boogeyman was fucking dank. Remember, like the weed dipped in embalming fluid. I still got a friend that's right in my neighborhood who's probably like 45 years old on the same bike because of that shit. Like, damn, there was shit that did that. But the thing about fentanyl that fucking makes it horrible is that fucking fentanyl. And I hate to reiterate this, and I tell my kids this, I tell everyone I can, guys, we're talking about grains of sand is enough to fucking kill you. These cocksuckers are mixing it into pills that are everything from ecstasy to whatever other thing they're trying to say it is, they're mixing it in there. These things are fucking killing people.
I know, because
left and right.
Well, because it's hyper addictive. It's way more addictive than anything.
Yep.
And the popularity of cocaine too, and it has been increasing. You know, cocaine, like the popularity kind of goes in waves.
Yep.
I remember there was a time like when we were growing up that it was like nobody did that shit, and then it kind of like ramped up a little bit, and then it kind of
blew
died
up, right?
off.
Yeah.
And then but then now it's kind of back. It's starting to come back, and then so with the fentanyl. Yeah, they're getting crafty with it, and that's fucking crazy.
Well, it's fucking terrifying, right? They're getting crafty with it. They're fucking mixing into everything because it's so cheap to make. It potentifies anything else you take, but if you take too much, which is very easy, it will kill you. So I really think at some point we need to start putting that on the fucking plate, right? I mean, there's a lot of things, and I'm more of a person that, you know, I think when it comes to like legalization, things like that, I think there's something that can be done with that. I think society needs to take a look at it because there are a lot of people in jail over weed, right? And things of that nature, which are not fentanyl, right?
Yeah.
Even though you want to put like, that's the funny part, fentanyl's classified in a better category than marijuana.
Right.
So when you have a system that's like this already, there's apparent issues. With it,
that's the thing. Like really taking inventory on like what the effect is of the substance itself and what the harm could be, and therefore, you know, weaving that into what the sentencing looks like and what the you know, the judicial whatever ramifications.
I like that.
Based on whatever substance it is, doesn't match, in other words, the logic of it, right? Because you could however many people are in jail for weed, how many lives ruined, right, for something that's now legal in half the fucking country,
right? But people are still in jail, right?
It'd be like if you had half the country locked up for something like Bud Light, you know, because they had possession of fucking a Bud Light.
You see people getting busted going to jail, but that's how silly it is because there's half the country right now, and shout out to Kentucky who just legalized medical. That just happened.
Did they?
Just happened. So Kentucky is more progressive and moving into the future than Texas. That's some wild shit.
Sucks, man, because
I fucking thought.
I feel like I feel like we should be one of the states that's a green light, but because of Texas is different. There's
because of our proximity to Mexico.
Yeah, there's a lot of dynamics.
If we legalized, it would kill a lot of that smuggling from Mexico because there's no need for it here anymore. And if we don't need to get in trouble to get it anymore, it breaks down the supply lines because people still will get in trouble to get it. And that's where it starts. And it's stupid. If we legalized a lot of states along the border, it would have, and I'm not trying to, and I don't want to compare it in the same way, but the same thing kind of happened during the Civil War, where there were some states in the in-between zones between states that had slaveries and states that did not. Mm-hmm. When you put those, what as they call buffer states, that had like a ambiguous, like if a slave made it, they were freed if they were from the South. But they were a slave from that state or from the North, they necessarily weren't freed. But if you had a legality buffer, especially on the border, a lot of people are like, why am I gonna fucking risk going to jail when I can get it here now without a problem? And it's commercialized and I can actually pay my mortgage without worrying about being killed. I think that would really stem the flow of a lot of drugs in the United States, but we continue to not do it because of these weird Puritan type ethic things.
For sure, man.
And, but yeah, it's definitely something happening, and it's just so sad. But nonetheless, drawing back, police corruption, once again, you got to really watch it, guys. They're not, and there's a lot of great cops, but there's also a lot of systemic corruption, which I think sometimes people try to think like, oh, the Mexican cartels, they're really only big in Mexico. They're not.
Oh, no, man.
They have a lot of fucking money. And if you don't think that money hasn't crossed the border and doesn't pay off a lot of people, because we're talking about like suitcases of cash. Yeah. You'd be surprised.
Well, not only that too, but they're very high level criminal organizations, and they're, make no mistake, they're like already the tentacles are in woven into the fabric of American society, like big
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Obviously here in Texas, but it extends further than that as well. But you know, we talked about a lot of things there. We talked about a little cocaine, right? Okay, we talked about Ben was kind of establishing, making some analogies, the Mason-Dixon line and buffer states or whatever. You even mentioned Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Kentucky is very close to the state of Ohio, right? Right across the border. Cincinnati is like a kind of a border town, you know? It's right on that Kentucky, Ohio. So, you know, so in Cincinnati recently, a wildcat, some kind of a fucking cheetah or some bullshit was found.
That's a real tomcat.
As a real fucking tomcat was found with cocaine in its system. And no, this is not a movie. So this is an article from NPR. I'm going to do one of those things where I'm going to cover it, man. I'm just going to read this. Rachel Treisman is the author of this. I want to give her a shout out for NPR. So you've probably heard of Cocaine Bear, the box office hit about a black bear's drug-fueled feeding frenzy. But have you heard of Cocaine Cat? Bet you haven't been.
No, I have not. I have not.
You're about to. The phrase started trending on Twitter last Thursday, like the movie. It's based on a true story, only this one is about a wildcat that was captured in Cincinnati and turned out to have cocaine in its system. Unlike the movie, the story isn't in the 1980s. It happened earlier this year. It was only made public recently for legal reasons, explains Ray Anderson with the Cincinnati Animal Care Shelter. I love this shit, dude. This is my favorite part of the show. Coming to the heels of the Cocaine Bear movie, we're not surprised it has gone viral, he told NPR email. And mind you, Rachel Friesman, I'm going to hit you up on Twitter. See if we can get something going here. The protagonist of the particular tale is a serval named Amory. So have you seen those serval cats? They're kind of like a hybrid between.
Hold on, you know what? I'm gonna check this one out.
Yeah,
serval. How you spell it? How do you spell it? Like
Serval.
Hold on, Serval. As you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, I do enjoy.
So the most notably, John. Jones.
Jesus, that's like a fucking wild. That's like a wild animal.
No, it's like a wild. Yeah, it's like it's basically like a house cat mixed with a fucking like cheetah.
Yeah, that's not cool.
So it's kind of in that range where in other words, if you went to your friend's house and they had one of these, you'd be scared. You'd be like, whoa, God, dude.
How big do these things
Is this a tiger or
oh, bro.
It's like dude, I was so fucked up one time when I was like in my early 20s that I was at this party and I think somebody had a serval, but my memory is so fucked up that it's kind of blurry. Right. But I remember seeing a cat that I was like, hey, man. But I was so drunk that I wasn't like technically scared. But I was like, hey, why is there a fucking, you know what I mean? Like a bobcat in your house. Like,
what the cougar here?
And the guy was like, oh, it's like half house cat, half bobcat. Oh, don't worry about it, bro. It's cool.
I like their name.
Bobcat. It's bobcat. It's called like a bobcat. So to this day, I don't know if that was real. And I was just really fucked up, or I dreamed that because I was so fucked up. So anyway,
that dude was trying to hook up with you, bro.
I think that happened. I think it was like a serval cat in some dude's apartment. But anyway,
he was trying to impress you.
I guess he was. The big cat was kept as a pet and escaped from his owner's car during. Oh, dude, this keeps getting better.
Why did you take it in his car?
Check it out. The big cat was kept as a pet and escaped from his owner's car during a police stop in January, according to Anderson. It's fucking sketchy. That's when the Hamilton County Dog Wardens, a division of the Cincinnati Animal Care, got calls about what was thought to be a leopard spotted in a tree. So this thing got loose. Like they pulled homie over and he's like, hey guys, you might want to take into account that, oh, you get the down on the floor. Yeah, they started tasing him. Fucking cat gets out. Now it's mayhem. Cat's obviously on cocaine because we already talked about the headline. He's like, dude, you don't want to fuck with this cat, dude. It's on coke. Like, I promise you.
That's so dope.
I'll turn myself in tomorrow. Just let me take the cat to a safe place. They didn't want to listen, dude. Cincinnati PD just pulled this fucking guy over. Responders were able to retrieve Amory and bring him back to the shelter with a medical team called an expert. Dude, I'm telling you, the reason I'm reading this shit is because it keeps going. This expert, whose credentials include working on the Tiger King, fucking dope, to identify the species. The expert suspected Amory was actually a serval, a long-legged, big-eared wildcat that's native to sub-Saharan Africa and illegal to own in Ohio. To confirm that, the medical team took a DNA sample and also tested him for narcotics. That's when the story gets good. Amory tested positive for exposure to cocaine, and the DNA test concluded it was indeed a serval. You know, John Jones of UFC fame has a serval.
What the fuck? You know these things get up to 40 pounds?
Oh, yeah. No, and it escaped one time in his neighborhood, and everyone was freaking out. And he's like, oh, my bad. And like he had to go get it out of a tree.
I like your impersonation. Oh, my bad.
My bad. Yeah.
My bad, man. It's just a kitty cat.
Yeah,
little baby kitty cat.
This is my little kitty.
He's just gonna give you kisses. Yeah,
so,
no.
So
fuck that.
Let me continue on real quick. So this is about the cocaine. Why did the shelter test Amory for drugs in the first place? The short answer is a Capuchin monkey named Neo. Dude, I told you, this story keeps delivering. Last year, local animal control seized the monkey from his Cincinnati home after a veterinarian who saw videos of him believed he had ingested Xanax and or cocaine and was in need of medical care. So my question is, first of all, Mexican Nostradamus.
Oh my God.
What fucking videos, like, was this dude posting to social media account of like, dude, my fucking pet monkey is snorting Xanax and
lit.
Neo tested positive for amphetamines, underwent treatment, and is now safely in an undisclosed location, according to Anderson. His owner was indicted on animal cruelty charges. Since then, Anderson says it's become standard protocol for the shelter to test narcotics on any animal that is more exotic than the usual household pet. So we learned a lot today, did we not?
Yes, we did. We
know that it's we now know that it's protocol.
It's proto
in Ohio. It's full proto in Ohio to test exotic animals that are caught that escape police. Fucking anyway, okay, hold on. Let me finish this out. Of course, we also test narcotics for any dog or cat displaying behaviors that would lead us down that path. He added, Amory was extremely agitated at the time he was with us, which is understandable given that he had been through what he had been through that morning. But we were able to sedate and treat him before transporting him to the Cincinnati Zoo. That kind of sucks. Like, why did they take him to the zoo? Okay, there's a lot. This article keeps going.
Yeah, there's a lot happening in this.
There's a lot happening. I think we're all good.
I like it though. I fucking like it.
I'll just conclude with so this is coming from Anderson. If you see a serval, if you happen to encounter an exotic or agitated animal, keep your distance as much as possible and contact local animal control. Do not approach. Do not wait to get pictures or videos. Stay safe, as it could not only be life or death situation for yourself, but the animal as well. Let professionals handle the situation. Get the animal to safety. So you know what I mean? Like,
dude, I think it's fucking nuts. Servals running around. I mean, what on coke, bro? I mean, can you imagine a serval fucking just like the fact is, okay, look, I've seen some questionable people every once in a while hotbox their own animals.
Oh,
but going time. All in with cocaine,
allegedly you blow the ear for the best results.
Allegedly, people do these things.
Right. Never seen it happen.
I've never seen it happen, allegedly, but all I'm saying is I've heard of these fucking savages.
I've heard of that.
But I think it's a whole new level when you're willing to give an animal cocaine.
Right. But he got it from the monkey. Neo, the coke monkey.
God, the coke monkey. But you can't blame everything. Monkey. But fucking Neo got it from Jim. And Jim is a dick for fucking giving any of these animals fucking cocaine. So yeah, really, I think it's fucking nuts.
The one who takes the L, like the on the scale, whoever owns Neo, the coke monkey, is the biggest piece of shit.
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
I think, right? I think he started the chain.
Oh God. Yeah, right. This is where the cycle of abuse starts. Right?
Right.
It's fucking the Neo monkey.
He's the
owner.
Adam and the Eve of this fucking
Oh my God.
this
Yeah,
this narcotics exotic animal tragedy. He's
the
fucking,
chicken or the egg. He is the
right.
beginning of this whole tragedy of animals just getting fucking based out.
He's the alpha and omega.
Oh
of that,
fuck, right?
that
And guess
cycle.
what? And guess what? That dude's an asshole. He wins Asshole of the Year award for fucking snorting out his fucking pet monkey.
Fuck that guy. Only in Ohio, right?
Oh fuck,
You know what I'm
right?
saying?
Hey,
Hey,
look,
shout out though. Shout out to
shout
Ohio.
out to Ohio, shithole. But like, really,
It is, but you know what?
great, good
first,
people.
There's something, yeah, and we've got some Ohio. So
Yeah.
shout out to our Ohio listenership.
Great people, shitty state, but
on the
wonderful people.
big time.
Possibly
it's one of those
third
states,
level of hell, but great people.
I kind of like Ohio because it's one of those.
Yeah,
It's like a Midwest Florida.
it's like a semi-clean restroom when you're driving cross country.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, there's still some shit on the walls,
I like it. I like Ohio,
but
man.
I could pop a squat. You know what state I kind of like that I talked shit before. I told you before. Is Missouri,
right? Yeah,
Missouri, great state
Bro,
of Missouri, man.
Table-
Fucking chilled out people.
Table Rock Lake.
Yeah,
homie.
bro. Yeah. It really chilled out people.
You ever been to the Ozarks?
Yeah, been
Dude,
to.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you know, it's questionable. There's some interesting people on the Ozarks.
Hey, it's
I will
beautiful
give
if
that.
your family's from the fucking Midwest and that's the only body of water nearby.
No, for real. No, I'm talking about it's beautiful, like
Yeah.
scenery wise, but the people that are at the Lake of the Ozarks,
Yeah, it's different.
kind of
folks.
bring the natural beauty down, right? It's beautiful. No, I fucking think the Lake of Ozarks is beautiful. I actually got to go, and I got actually the star treatment because I stayed in a house that was designed by that was it Lloyd Wright, that big fancy house maker people, Franklin Lloyd.
Sure.
Anyways, whatever.
Okay.
Fucking, it was a 17-bedroom house. I got to fucking stay there with the person, the millionaires.
Yeah.
Whoa, loved it. It was great. As soon as you come down a little bit, it gets a little dicey.
Yeah, I guess a little sketch.
A little dicey, a little methy. But
yeah, so people, that's the thing. Like, and you're one of those folks too that I'm born and raised here in the great state of Texas, but I've got family in the Midwest. So
yep.
In the younger days, right, a lot of travels. Yeah, it's a different vibe, and it's funny for you to react to that because it's like something that I know like inherently, but
right.
from somebody from Texas. Yeah, it's a different kind of
it's fucking scary.
You know, every region kind of
scary, bro.
Every region kind of has its you know, the
issues,
the lower rungs, right, of society.
Yeah.
But you kind of get accustomed to wherever you're at, right?
Yeah.
But when you do go to somewhere else and you know, the riffraff's kind of a different, it's a different look, like it's a little different kind of vibe. Yeah. It throws you off. Yeah. So it's funny. That's why I'm making note of that, because it's funny to see Ben react to that something that like
definitely rougher.
I take for granted because of it's a vibe.
Well, yeah, it's like
I'm
going to the east side. You know, it's like you go into like the north side.
It's different.
You know, like you know, you like where Mexican will be like, oh, you know, but then for other people that they're not normally around that area. I mean, you were, so it's different. Yeah. You were always around there, but like, you know, 45 Tidwell, people start going, oh, okay. Yeah. These aren't the ones that are, you know, mowing the lawns. They're big, tough people. So I think it does that. So like when you go to Lake Ozarks, they also like, oh, you have 2 teeth.
Right.
Cool. And you have, you know, it's a place where some bad things happen.
In other words, here's where right? the descriptive nature of my personality, like there's just a different look in the eyes of people that you're not used to seeing with that look in their eyes. Does that make sense?
I'm fucking 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, dude. Also, you look at like, are you gonna rob me? Are you gonna rape me? That's the only thought. Right. That's all you can tell. That's the only 2 thoughts going in their mind is whether they're going to rob or rape you. Yeah. They're trying to assess which one they need to do. And you're just like, I don't like this. I don't like being in this decision wheel of yours, right? I don't want to be robbed or raped by you whatsoever.
I don't. You know,
And if it's a chick, it's like, no, not going to impregnate you either. That place is, I mean, there's some parts that are rough.
Yeah, there's some part. Yeah, you get into the like I described on the show. Like, so if you get off the interstate a little bit and you're more in like kind of the train route sort of side of the good old USA,
Train route.
It can get a little, yeah, it can get a little squirrely out there, but
love it.
You know what else is pretty squirrely? Buying a car these days, man. We'll kind of wrap it up with this.
Fuck, right?
Bro, I can't, like, I had this whole mindset that was like, you know what would be dope, right?
Yeah.
Instead of upgrading, I've, making a little more money these days, right? I'm gonna put some money into some different places. One of the things I'd like to do, man, is kind of upgrade my vehicular
your transportation.
You know what I mean? My transportation. I would like to very much, but so I had another angle. It's like, well, instead of maybe going up, on the Cadillac angle, maybe I'll just work with what I got, but add my own twist. You know what I mean? $700 lizard shoes on the whole program.
I like this,
but I can't even really do that because the tier of vehicle that I'm accustomed to, all of a sudden, like within the last couple year cycle,
like 2 years actually,
has come to a range to where shit, that's like relatively buying a goddamn Mercedes.
It's like Beamer money. It's fucking Beamer money,
right? Beamer money for run-of-the-mill American middle class homeowner.
Yep,
we're out of the market for that kind of shit now.
Yep. And I mean, so and to further kind of reiterate what Ben's saying, so like back in the day, like we were all normal people, whatever, and before whatever, like the Honda Civic was like the standard bearer of the normal, like that was the car of the people, right? That was our Volkswagen,
dude, for sure.
Just like Germany had the Volkswagen, the car of the people. Honda Civic was the Volkswagen, so everyone had one. We fixed them up; they were shitty, whatever. And those were relatively, even at that time frame, you could pick up, and this is real prices back when we were 20, 21 years old. You could buy a brand new Honda Civic for $16,000. And that was actually one with AC, right? Because we actually had cars that had no AC. That was being phased out by the time we were in our 20s. Now, though, the average price of a car is $43,000. Put that into perspective, ladies and gentlemen. $43,000. You know what the average price of a car was 2 years ago before COVID? $27,000.
I was just about to guess 27.
$27,000. That's a fucking massive jump in 2 years. Massive jump.
Yeah, and too bad you need a car to go everywhere.
Right, because public transportation sucks asshole out here. Especially in Texas. I mean, and the great state of Texas, love it.
Yeah, public transportation is not really a thing.
We don't have trains. We don't have a real cohesive busing system that's secure. We don't have much. Our park and rides are a joke. Like HOV is really all we have that are somewhat okay, but you need a fucking car for that, right? So yeah, I think it's kind of crazy. So that's one thing. So even me, the other day I have an addiction to cars. I get a new car every year. That's just what I've always done. But so I want a Bronco now because I like to go wheeling. I've taken Jeeps and JKs through Blood Gulch, all these real technical trails. I enjoy that shit too. I also like to race. One day I'll have them both, but for now I need more of an SUV as my kids get bigger. Anyways. Went to go fucking try to buy this fucking Bronco, right? Yeah. They wanted, so typically they've been asking the dumbasses out here in DFW who apparently will pay anything for these fucking things for the MSRP, the asking price of the vehicle from Ford, plus $10,000.
Jesus Christ.
Right? So me being somewhat desperate, because I was like, you know what, I'm willing to deal a little bit. I said, I'll take the car for its price plus 3, but really I was lying because I was going to try to knock out some stuff. I never play straight with these guys. because to be quite honest with you, and then not to be a hater if you're a car dealer, but you fucking know you guys are fucking thieves. I mean, it's just what it is.
They're trying to maximize.
No, they're fucking thieves
for sure.
There's no everything if you ever go buy a car, every fucking word they're saying is a lie.
Yeah,
they're never telling you the truth. Anyway, so they were willing to wheel a deal or even discuss anything. And this is after I'm even providing real numbers, profit margins. I know how much they make off of each car, and they're trying to tell me I'm not making that much. I go, well, I got this report that shows from a Ford dealer that this is how much you make when you sell the car at this price. Yeah. Nonetheless, greed's big. So if you're looking to make a major purchase in a car, if you can't buy new, what do? You buy a used car.
Yeah.
Well, guess what's happening with used car values?
Oh,
they have soared significantly. So I think that's a major crisis we're about to run into in the next couple of years. Is an automotive crisis. Is a crisis of people being able to get to work.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So yeah, man. Good luck to anyone out there. So yeah, unless you're willing to go and pony up a good $50K, everything's fucking nuts now.
Well, that there extends the conversation to fuck it. Maybe I'll just go all in on what I got.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And continue to reinvest in that project.
Right.
Which is actually kind of interesting. Because that may be the route I go. Because I can't. I'm a calculated, frugal guy when it comes to money, right. I'm very. I don't buy a car every year like Ben.
Yeah, I'm stupid.
I definitely no. It's what you do.
That's my thing. Like everyone has a vice. Everyone has their vice
for sure. I, on the contrary, though, I'm definitely much more measured as far as my auto. Like I look at them as A, transportation, and B, investments. Right.
Right.
So I'm very specific on like how much I can get it for and blah, 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 how long it's going to last me and what, I never try to have like two notes at a time.
Right.
Whatever. So, yeah. So now I'm looking, cause I'm kind of got that itch now. Like I'm looking for a new vehicle. Right. And I'm looking at the prices of these fucking things. Like, man, dude, not sure I want to fucking jump into that game at this point. So it's tough. So,
well, $1,000 car notes, like I was telling you earlier, 15% of our car notes are over $1,000 a month.
Can't do it right now.
Can you imagine paying $1,000 a month?
I can't fucking do it
on a fucking car.
These fucking kids that work for me are telling me about, and maybe I'm old school to where like I fucking am a little more, like I said, a little more measured on like what I'm willing to finance and like how whatever.
Yeah.
So I still. Everything, dude. My numbers are still 1999 numbers, like in my head. So, like, in other words, if I get past that threshold on anything, whether it's like mortgage payments or car notes, I'm just like, ugh, like I get that, like, I shouldn't be paying that shit.
Clench a little.
Fuck yeah. So inflation is killing me because, I go to the grocery store, and it's like, and I normally buy the groceries. This is the thing. Like I've worked in that industry. So like, I don't let her buy the groceries because we're going to end up, you know what I'm saying? Like she's going to buy bullshit. Like I know how to shop to where it's going to maximize.
Well, you've worked there.
That's what I'm saying. So like normally I do the grocery shopping and it's very calculated and I get it under, even though like it'll be the weekly, most people spend what, $200-300 or something.
Oh, easily. For a family of, depending on the size of the family.
Bro, I've got it dialed in. I rarely go over 100. You think I'm lying?
That's dope.
I'm saying I just know how to. I just know how to.
Right.
Do it. So now can't do that anymore.
Nope.
It's breaking. Yeah, it's breaking. Like even me.
Yeah.
As savvy as I am with like what I put in the basket, and like I said, every single thing I grab with my hand, like there's no impulse buys, bro. Like everything is like I make lists. I'm very, very dialed in. I can't. It's like 115.
Dude, yeah, doesn't matter anymore. Whatever you did, it's 15% more.
Yeah,
that you literally are the perfect analogy. So for us, we're shopping for we it's funny. We used to do Walmart, right? Pickup. Yeah. We switched to Kroger, and know what? We're saving 25% shopping at Kroger. You know why? Kroger's app allows you to digitally click coupons.
The coupons, right? Mm-hmm.
So you actually can digitally. We sound so old right now.
I know.
You can actually use digital coupons at Kroger, whereas Walmart's just like, we're already cheap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
that's true. They don't really have,
no, but they say, we're cheap already.
Right.
Whereas Kroger has manufacturer coupons, and they actually, when you buy the product, they let you use them at the same time when you're using the app.
Right.
So yeah, they'll probably close that loophole and fuck everybody at some point. But yeah, so exactly. So that's just the cost of living. So you factor that all in to this whole inflation factors and all this shit. And you hear about the feds raising rates and what's getting inflation under control. You're like, hey, asshole. It's already more expensive than most people can live.
Yeah.
So guess what? You're talking about bringing inflation down. The problem is we need it to go in reverse. We need prices to go back down, not for it to slow down to how expensive it's getting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the crazy part. So, yep. So good luck trying to get any cars or groceries, next thing you know, you can't even, condoms are going to be too expensive and just everything's just going up there, bro.
Big time, man. So if you do find yourself in the need for, used items, condoms, whatever, secondhand merchandise,
used condoms.
Make sure you hit me in the DMs at skip_the_endorsement.
I got plenty.
I don't have used condoms, I will say.
What are those?
But occasionally I will come upon some things. So if you're in the market for that sort of thing, let me know. But that being said, I think
what's one thing though that hasn't been affected by inflation?
What's that?
The cost of listening to this show.
No, that's right.
We've helped stave off inflation by staying
free.
See,
we've provided 141 episodes of free content for your ass
and good shit
to enjoy, and good shit.
Yep. Good quality shit.
So if you would, you know what I mean, throw us a little bone. Go over to Good Pods. It's an app you can download for free. It's a nice little podcast portal.
Also
right?
free.
You can get access to, it's very free. But if you follow Skip the Noise podcast on Good Pods, there's an avenue for you to provide a donation through, PayPal or what have you there. So if you could do that, that would be outstanding. We'd really appreciate it. Or if that's not an option for you, just hit me up on the DMs on Instagram or the email, the skipthenoisepodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
You can always contact us there. And, I think that's about,
we're wrapping this
that'll
up.
Do it. That'll do it. And a little bow, a little bun.
A little bun in the bow.
A little bun and a bow.
We're going to put it in the oven and clean it up and finish it.
Slap it on the ass and send it on its way.
This is always slapping bows on the ass.
That's right.
And buns. We're slapping them buns and saying goodnight, ladies and gentlemen. So you, everybody out there, just remember AI loves you. And
that's right. It does.
Yeah. No Juarez detention centers. So you guys keep it real, represent, and we'll see you on the flipper.
Peace. Take care. Have a good week.